Welcome to another edition of Fine Food and Healthy Living Asia. Todd Lennox here. Normally I'm with my co-host Ian Nenke, but Ian is actually running a summer camp this year for a couple of weeks at Raffles American School, and wish him the best of luck. And I was able to attend today the Green Talk event at Sunway here in Iskandar. And one of the speakers today was David Ward, and David is joining us for the podcast. David Ward, welcome to Fine Food and Healthy Living Asia.
Hi, Todd. Great to be here.
If I heard in your talk that you used to be in the fashion industry.
I was in the fashion industry for 25 years, actually. And it was great. It was very fruitful, both personally and professionally, and it provided a great life. But I kind of woke up one morning in 2013 and felt that maybe I'd run my course in that industry. I'd learned a lot, but decided that I would try and apply all of the sort of brand building skills that I developed and the things I'd learned from a lot of great people, and actually try and do something more purposeful with it.
Did anything happen in 2013 that led to this?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it sounds a bit spurious, but it all started in a bar in Tokyo at around midnight one night. But I just happened to bump into a guy who's become a friend who was running a sustainable business based in Vancouver, and his family had been in environmentally friendly cleaning products for some years, and he was super excited because he was over for just come back from the Canton Fair, I think, and going back through Tokyo, and he was telling me about this new business they were about to launch, which was to bring sustainable toilet paper and tissue paper products to Canada under the brand. And if you ever see the brand and you're over there, it's called Kaboo, great people. And I was working in brand licensing and helping businesses find partners in Asia, and he said, how about you try and help us find somebody over here? So I said, okay, I'll start to look into that. I guess when you spend most of your life, A, not being very materialistic, and B, being very pro-green in the environment, it kind of just fell quite easily into my lap. But on a commercial level, it represented a lot of problems. The requirements of the American market were significantly different. So part of our discussion was, I'll create a brand. I'll fill in the gaps, so to speak, around the products that he might be able to do. But over a relatively short space of time, it ended up that we couldn't really bring any of his products over here without completely redeveloping the packaging, the pack size, the ply in terms of paper. So in the end, I created a brand called No Trees, which is sold across Singapore. It's also selling very well across the United States. But at the time, I couldn't find investors for this. So I was fortunate enough to find somebody who wanted to buy it from me. And I actually ran that business for 3 years before it was eventually sold on to a larger FMCG group based out of Singapore.
FMCG, what is that?
Fast-moving consumer goods. Big companies that bring you a lot of the household products that you might be familiar with.
And you're based in Singapore?
So I'm based in Singapore. I live in JB. My wife's Malaysian, so we met about 5 years ago in London. And I'm her personal import, as she calls me.
You have toilet paper?
Yeah. So
what other products do you have?
The story there is that during that period of time of running that business, it became quite clear that one issue was obviously the sustainability of the material that we were using, but consistently we were being pushed into a position, whether in the United States or elsewhere, that you had to have your product wrapped in plastic. Mm-hmm. And, that's going back 4 years ago. I'm not saying that the plastic problem didn't exist then, it did, but the awareness level was quite low. And when I started to investigate that more, and more specifically when we started to look into products like, wet wipes. Wet wipes, most people probably aren't aware, are at least 45 to 65% plastic.
No, I did not know that.
And oddly enough, the whole industry has got away without ever telling you on the packaging. Now, I have no idea how they've managed to do this, but they'll talk about the formula of the particular wipe, but they won't mention the fact that the product itself is actually plastic-based. And you start to become more and more aware that, yes, the deforestation is a problem. It's a very, very big problem, but the amount of plastics we were producing as either waste or a byproduct of purchasing a product through the retail chains as they are was significantly higher and significantly more impactful in terms of the post-consumer problem that we were creating. So I kind of went back to ground on this and looked at the sustainability of bamboo, which is incredibly good for the products that we were talking about, which is tissue paper, toilet paper, wipes, because you can make those from 100% bamboo, diapers that you can make from bamboo cores and outer layers, replacing both plastics and other materials in the process. But also started to look at how we could do away with the actual plastic packaging completely.
Right.
There spawned the idea of a new range of products. So I jumped ship and set up camp on my own, and eventually found a small investor. And we're just about to launch under our new company, which is called the Nurturing Company, a range of products under the name of Bamboo Loo. And again, fortuitous timing plays a hand in these things, that this was not my brand. This wasn't a brand I created. I came into contact with an American lady who'd created this brand, invested a lot of money, but had not been able to penetrate the US market on her own. She was a single mom and trying to make it all happen. And, we came together, and her brand now became part of our company, and she became a part of our company.
And who is that?
Her name is Laura. And she's based actually down in Florida, and similar idea. She wanted to try to do something, saw a problem, spent a lot of time and energy, but the market is very, very difficult to penetrate if you've not got any experience, and that was the bit that she lacked, and she made a few errors in terms of the things that she was doing, which cost her more money than it needed to. I think she just left herself, when you come to launch anything, the marketing capital you need is quite high. And she'd spent probably too much money developing product, getting product shipped over to the United States, things of this nature, to the point where, the cupboard was kind of bare. And she wasn't selling enough of the product that she was doing. And we kind of bumped into each other, if you like, through the very small network of people who are involved in this industry. And just got talking, and over a period of months, the idea of incorporating her brand into our new business, because effectively we were going for the same goal, removing plastics, seemed to fit very well. But she was only focused on one product. She was only focused on purely on toilet paper, and so that's the first product that we'll be launching towards the end of August across Singapore, and predominantly online, for the reason of A, being able to get closer to the consumer, and B, because we don't have any plastics. And so far the retailers have been ambivalent about the idea of supporting a brand that doesn't have plastic wrapping.
So I can get my head around how this works, because I want to order some toilet paper.
Okay.
Believe me, it makes me sick to go to the supermarket and just see everything, toilet paper included, wrapped in plastic. My question is, why do we need to wrap even my single tomato that I want to buy wrapped in plastic? So how does this work in terms of getting my toilet paper?
I guess there's two sides to answer the question about the plastics. Obviously, the scenario is that the retail model has been around for 200 odd years. It's a very streamlined, very professional, highly organized business. It's motivated to make money, not just on the product itself, the sales of the product, but also on the brands themselves. It's more of a space management, space rental model now these days. So even if you've got a great product, unless you can pour more money into marketing, more money into helping the retailer, you're probably not going to get any more product on the shelf at any one time. So even if you're selling out, it won't affect anything.
Right.
Just more disappointed consumers, really. But the streamlining of that model means that you have to adhere to certain requirements in terms of, if you want your product to be sold, it's got to be in a certain size box, it's got to be a certain price pack. Toilet paper in Asia is sold in 10-pack rolls or 10-roll packs. In Europe, it's 9. In America, it's 12. And it's not like, we need more.
Right.
Although Americans do use more toilet paper, but that's for other reasons.
Somehow it's a feeling of security just having an extra 10 rolls just in case.
Just in case. But that's because the logistics system, shelf size, stacking heights, all these kinds of things, which are nothing to do with us as consumers. They're just purely
Uh-huh.
the mechanics
Yeah.
that dictate, is why everything you've got now is in plastic.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So we're focused mainly online. So to answer your second part of your question, how can I get it?
Yeah.
We'll be selling through people like Lazada, through Redmart, through Q10,
Okay.
through Shopee. We'll also be working in Singapore with the plastics-free bring your own store, which is called Unpacked, because we believe that we need to have sort of a showcase of sorts, and we're challenging the supermarkets to deal with us. We don't want to pay the exorbitant listing fees and all these kinds of things, because that's just money from the bottom line, which we can't then dedicate towards producing a better product. But we'll see if they'll accept or not accept. But the challenge is we're not in plastic.
Well, this sounds like a game changer in a lot of ways. What sometimes happens, or I've seen happen, is a product will get so successful and so popular that now you get the attention of the other marketers on the block.
Yeah. Hey, look.
So
if that happens, great.
Yeah. No, that's great. What happens in order for that brand idea to be protected from, say, okay, we like the bamboo idea, but we've got to get wrapped in plastic. Here's $1 billion. Let's keep going with this idea, but it's got to get wrapped in plastic. I'm not saying that's the likely scenario, but are there ways you're protecting the sort of source idea of this thing?
Yeah, well, you can to a point. The final packaging version that we've come up with, we think is well, in fact, it doesn't exist actually anywhere else.
What is that?
We're using a specific kind of paper to deliver the bag, as we call it. All of our products will be in a bag.
A paper bag?
Paper bag. It's a paper of sorts. It's completely it's made from recycled material. It's completely biodegradable.
Oh, wonderful!
And it's certainly strong enough to probably have some post-use, some post-use life for a period of time around the home, or for wrapping other things before you eventually decide that you finally need to, put it in your recycling.
So all of the product, just see if I got this straight. All of the product, including the toilet paper, the wrapping, any delivery items, all either recycled or recyclable or biodegradable.
Yeah, biodegradable.
Yeah.
And eventually when we sell from our own website, which won't happen straight away until we've got enough references, enough SKUs.
Yeah.
When we get to that point, we'll be under a subscription model, so you'll be able to order what you need according to your family size. And get it delivered in a reusable crate.
Yeah.
So you'd have one crate at your home. This is a collapsible crate. And you hand back the old crate. And you pick up the new crate.
Oh, I love it.
That way there's not even any boxing giving out. Because the cost of craft card paper boxes, the brown Amazon box, for instance, has increased by something like about 35% in the last 12 months.
Wow.
And the reason for this is that we're just rubbish at, excuse the pun, rubbish at recycling.
Yeah.
The stuff just doesn't get back into the supply chain.
Yeah.
The rampant growth of online sales, particularly in North America, particularly with Amazon, has meant that there is a shortage of craft card paper.
Wow. Well, I love that idea of having the rechangeable crate. That's
kind
wonderful.
Of old school.
Yeah, kind of old school.
You can make them out of sugarcane baggers, so it's not even made out of plastic. It's made out of an upcycled material.
Okay.
Again, it's doable. It's there. It exists, and it's just not used for what we're planning to use it for. It's used for a lot of other things. So.
Yeah. Well, what a wonderful, game-changing, great concept and idea, and I could just see this thing just taking off like crazy. I mean, as was pointed out in this seminar today, people's awareness of the plastic issue has increased, I think, exponentially.
Yes, I agree.
Even over the last 6 months.
Yeah, I agree.
But definitely over the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yes, there's when I first started the first brand, we were focused very much on the deforestation and the benefits between bamboo and wood pulp. Bamboo is a naturally hypoallergenic plant. It's the only plant in the world that is. So in terms of anything that goes next to your skin, it's infinitely better than a wood pulp product. It may not feel as, in brackets, as soft or as smooth, but that's all processing.
And we're talking about an important area of your skin.
Just a little bit, yes. Yeah. Very tender area.
Yeah. So how would you describe the difference in feel between a paper, normal toilet paper, and the bamboo product?
In terms of what we perceive as softness, this is a pretty good place to start that point. How do we define softness? Well, we normally would squeeze the roll.
Right.
Actually, this is a misnomer.
Don't squeeze the Charmin.
Yeah, this is a complete misnomer. That's just down to the winding pressure of the machine.
Right.
To make it, if it's a looser wind, it'll feel softer when you squeeze the roll.
And you have less paper.
And it has nothing to do with the quality of the paper.
Right.
And bamboo tissue paper is more absorbent than wood pulp. It absorbs between 18 and 25% more moisture per square centimeter. The fibers are more elastic, which means it stretches, which means it doesn't break at that critical moment when you want to use it. It has a slightly drier hand feel because it's not as over-processed as some, let's call them luxury wood pulp papers, which have very special treatment to flatten down all the fibers and make them very slippery on your hand. And we perceive this as being soft. But actually it has nothing to do with how it may react with your skin.
Right.
And bamboo paper is naturally hypoallergenic, which means that it's good for your skin. It's not going to give you that any kind of irritation issue whatsoever.
Yeah. And the bamboo, where is that coming from?
45% of the world's bamboo grows in China. But the most important component in this situation is that China, for about the last 20 years, has been building an alternate fiber industry because it doesn't have enough trees. It has 1.5 billion people that need to go to the toilet. So the last 10 years particularly, you've seen a large growth of the amount of bamboo, toilet paper, tissue paper, box tissues, etc., being bought for domestic use in China. China's been making paper out of bamboo for 2,500 years, so they kind of got it nailed.
Right.
The speciality, whether it's through patented processes or certainly the level of investment that has gone into that side of the industry, puts it head and shoulders above everywhere else. Plus, the bamboo literally grows at the door.
Yeah.
So the supply chain is much closer to hand. Bamboo grows on farms, not in forests.
Right.
And it's cultivated by farmers, and it's cut by hand.
Yeah. How quickly from a seedling, say, to fully ready bamboo?
Yeah, the two comparisons. If you look at the fir tree, which is the standard tree for the pulp industry, it's about 30 years growth requirement, and that'll give you about 1,500 toilet rolls. It's a long time to wait.
Wow.
And it doesn't really punch out its maximum oxygen level until about year 23, year 25.
Wow.
Maximum foliage, maximum height. Plant a piece of bamboo today, and 3 years later, it's at maximum height.
Wow.
In fact, it'll stop growing unless you cut it, because it holds its carbon in the root, unlike a tree which holds it in the trunk. Cut the tree down, tree's dead, roots are dead.
Yeah.
Cut your bamboo, it's like the grass in your garden, it just wants to grow again.
Yeah.
It'll grow prolifically.
So far less impact in terms of global warming.
Completely.
CO2 emissions.
It sequences more oxygen for a longer period of time. It produces 5 to 6 times the amount of raw material per hectare.
Beautiful.
Over that period of time as well. I mean, it is a fantastic natural material. It's the fastest growing plant in the world.
Wow.
So it's geared theoretically for what we need, which is, to be able to have something which is a truly sustainable, doesn't require chemicals, doesn't require fertilizer, a plant that actually loves to be cut.
Almost like turning weeds into something very
in a
useful.
sense. Yeah. For a lot of people, bamboo is deemed to be an invasive species of plant because it's a clump-based plant, so it grows outwards from the core, from the center.
Wow. Well, that's just great.
So it's but for this industry and this particular need and its own natural hypoallergenic component, which is actually called bamboo kun. I know that sounds made up, but it's not. It's completely and utterly genuine. That's why when you see even fabrics, and they'll talk about bamboo being, antimicrobial, antibacterial, etc. It's to do with this particular component of its DNA, and it's the only plant in the world that has this.
That's great. Well, I have a couple of bamboo T-shirts, or at least there's bamboo in them. They're very comfortable. Yeah.
They are very, very good for antimicrobial. So they transfer moisture. They break down perspiration.
Yeah.
Etc. And guess what? You can build a house from the same thing.
Wow.
As well, or
Amazing.
a toothbrush, or a straw,
Yeah.
or something for your floor, or a piece of furniture. It's a wonderful raw material.
Now, I've seen also on the shelf at one of the local organic shops, wheat toilet paper.
Yes, yeah. When I use the phrase alternate fiber industry, in China, basically that encompasses wheat, straw, sugarcane, which is an upcycle from the sugarcane process itself. Those fibers are really good too, very soft, and great when used in combination with something like bamboo. Hemp is also a great fiber, but it's kind of got a bit of a misguided, misdirected impression in terms of common awareness.
Yeah.
But it's actually a superb fiber for a lot of things.
I'm a big hemp fan. Are there any other products that you're working with or developing?
Well, we'll start with the toilet paper product, and then soon after that we'll launch food grade kitchen roll, and then box tissues, and then pocket tissues. The sort of pack pocket tissues that you see. Yeah, they're probably the worst offender for the amount of plastics that they use, because you got the little packet which is wrapped in plastic, and the 10 packs
and
of
the whole thing's wrapped in plastic,
and then they'll be sold in 10s or 12s, and that's wrapped in plastic, and then the whole carton is also then wrapped in plastic. So this is close to just mind-numbing numbers in terms of square meters of plastic.
Wow.
But we'll do it slightly differently. You'll buy a bulk bag, and then we'll give you 2 little what we call their chop boxes, which you can sort of put your tissues in and carry around. And,
excellent.
We'll sell you other kinds of chop boxes as well.
Could be a very chic product.
Kind of, a little bit of fun, and it doesn't fall apart in your pocket.
Right. Kind of like the old days when you have your handkerchief out of your pocket or something.
That's not I wouldn't say that's an entirely unique idea to us, having carrying pocket tissues in something which is a bit more purposeful than a plastic bag. Our driver is to do away with the plastic. Yeah. In every sense.
Right. Wow. Well, interesting. So from fashion to sustainability, that's kind of it's almost a 180 if you think about it. Fashion is kind of a planned obsolescence industry.
Yeah. It's also about the second biggest, polluter of the world in terms of waste materials and mismanagement. I guess, as you learn and you grow, you see the flaws in everything. You could pick fault with almost anything, but I would never decry the fashion industry. It was great to me. It was just I got to a point where I thought I could do more. Actually.
Well, you certainly are doing more, and I appreciate what you're doing. And I think probably people listening might want to get some of your toilet paper. So how do they do that? What's your website?
It'll be the website is www.thenurturingco.
Okay.
I think by the end of this month we'll have our main one, which is basically just nurturing.life.
Oh, okay.
That should be up and running.
I like that. Nurturing.life.
We won't be selling our product through our own website immediately, because we want to wait until we've got enough SKUs available, but we will point you towards one of the other partners that we're working with online, which will be Lazada, Redmart, Shopee, and Q10.
Excellent.
And then hopefully, the challenge being to get ourselves at retail. We will be working with the guys at Unpacked in Singapore, and then after that, hopefully with at least one of the main supermarket chains. But again, it has to be on terms which we think are attributing to the product we're trying to deliver, which is plastics free. We can't change this. We're not going to change this. So if they can work with us, they can. If they can't, we'll just get on with it.
Good for you. Stick to your guns, as it were. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I really look forward to using your product, seeing it on my supermarket shelf someday, hopefully not too far in the distant future, and best of luck to you.
Well, we've toyed with T-shirts, I'm getting printed T-shirts saying "better for your butt," but I'm not sure that the world is ready for that yet.
Well, but sounds good to me.
We'll figure something out.
All right.
Thanks, Todd.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Fine Food and Healthy Living Asia. Todd Lennox here. We're talking with Michael Folk. He's the Project and Business Development Manager for Aristec. Am I saying that right?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Aristec.
Right.
And he's involved with refrigeration and refrigeration management. And as many of the listeners of our podcast know, we're very interested in Project Drawdown, which was edited by Paul Hawken. Project Drawdown lists the 100 most impactful things that can be done to reverse global warming. And without going into too much more of that, because you can hear about that on our other podcasts, I'll just mention that the number one most impactful thing that can be done is refrigeration management. And it's not exactly the most sexy thing or the most thing that turns people on the most, but it is actually the most important factor in global warming issues. So we're here talking with Michael and asking him about what kinds of things that his company does to improve refrigeration and refrigeration management. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you, Todd. Well, shall I continue?
Sure. Well, let me just ask you first, just tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with the company, what you did before, a little bit about yourself.
All right. Okay, I've been with the company for about 2.5 years. I was previously a financier for like more than 10 years or so. So I'm actually with accounting and finance background. But I decided 2.5 years ago that I was very interested in this particular business where we are eco-label manufacturers of decontamination bioenzymes, which are rated or certified as bio, eco, green, and even food grade.
Wow.
So, and I was particularly interested because I was initially a kind of like community service work for me in terms of helping out people in the environment. And eventually it has become pretty much a full-time work for me. It's a mission to basically convert the industry to become green, particularly the air conditioning, cleaning industry and so forth.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to me. What is not green about the current methods of doing your job?
Okay, so the conventional aircon cleaning service uses either acid or alkaline, which are highly corrosive and not environmentally friendly. And it leaves a lot of carbon footprint, basically. Whereas ours is a pH 7 neutral product. As I mentioned earlier, it's bio, it's eco, it's green, and it's food grade. So and it leaves no carbon footprint at all.
So your product is a cleaning product.
Yes, it's basically to replace the harmful cleaning chemicals that are currently being used.
Okay, very good. And do you also have types of cleaning equipment that your company has developed and uses?
We use conventional type of equipment, but it's the key technology is the multi-enzyme technology that breaks the bonding of biofilm, mold, fungus, algae in the aircon system, the coils particularly.
So what is, like, let's just say your typical, let's say I call for my home or my business. I say, okay, I want my aircon cleaned. Okay. They come in, they do the job. My air conditioning works better, so I'm happy. I sign my thing, and they leave. What happened that they did that's different than what happens that you do? Besides the fact that you're using a cleaner product, how is my air conditioning any better or different?
Okay. Basically, the conventional guys would come in and then they'll uninstall your aircon unit from the wall, and they take it outside and spray it with some acid or alkaline.
Some kind of chemical.
Yes, harmful chemicals that are corrosive. And each time they clean your aircon, basically they are destroying it bit by bit because it corrodes the aluminum coil fin of the aircon. It may look shinier and nicer on the outside, but it has become thinner and more brittle, and so it's easily damaged. And if the air flowing through is very strong, it may even bend the fins, and therefore the airflow won't be good. and it leads to more energy consumption.
Aha.
And besides that, by using acid alkaline, it doesn't mean that it's thoroughly clean. It could still be filled with mold and fungus, because that's where sometimes you can still smell mold, even though it has been cleaned by the conventional guys. So in our case, when we use our enzyme technology, it being pH 7 neutral, we spray it on.
Yeah.
We do it in situ on the wall. We do not need to dismantle. We spray it on and we leave it for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we might use a mild steamer to flush off the contaminants that have been loosened by the enzymes, because the enzymes basically break the bondings of the contaminants, be it biofilm, mold, fungus, or algae. And we let it flow down a apron that flows into a bucket, and voila, it's done.
What is the active ingredient that's actually doing the cleaning in your product?
It's basically plant-based, and that's why we can get it certified as being bio, eco, and green, etc. And it's even halal, incidentally.
That's great.
So for those who are particular about that kind of thing.
Wow, that's great. Halal meaning...
There's no doubt about the origin of it being haram or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, very good. And for our Western listeners, halal being basically approved by Islam cleric or
yes, that's
Muslim and available to use in the Muslim community, which is very important in this part of the world. Well, that's great. So, the first thing is I want to immediately get my aircon cleaned using your product. So how do I, if I'm just in my home, how do I do that?
Well, we can just call us, and then we'll come and have a look at the aircon situation, and we just get on with it, basically. And the way we do it is basically it's more efficient than the conventional guy. So let's say in an hour, probably we could clean. If you have 5 to 6 units in your apartment or office, we can just do it 5 to 6 units.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the conventional guys would probably do 1 or 2 units in 1 hour.
Because they're taking everything apart and putting it back and all that.
Exactly. So it's less efficient. And we are most happy to actually train the conventional guys to become green aircon service contractors as well.
Okay. Great.
It's our mission to basically convert the whole entire industry to become green.
That's fantastic. So you're not just about selling your product to an individual user. You'll take another business and train them how to do it.
Correct.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So this sounds great to me. Your end user is getting a cleaner environment, a more healthy environment, a breathable environment, which what's more important than breathing clean air? I don't know. And you're increasing the efficiency of the aircon or the refrigeration itself. Net win all the way around. That's fantastic.
Yep, I forgot to add that basically our product is also food grade.
Oh, it's also food grade.
So in case you happen to consume part of it, when the aircon is turned on, it's food grade. So don't worry about it.
Not to worry. Okay. Yep. And if I need a snack after I'm done cleaning...
well, who knows?
Yeah. Well, you probably wouldn't recommend just drinking right out of the bottle. But,
no.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. And how do people get in touch with your company to schedule a cleaning, or maybe if they're another aircon company getting trained to use the product properly?
Okay. You could send an email to me at mikefolk@airestate.com. That would be MIKEFOLK alias AIRESTEC.com.
Okay, very good. Well, I can tell you when I get home, you're going to get an email from me.
All right.
Very
I'm
good.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, so I think hopefully the entire industry will be green one fine day. We're working hard at it. It's been a challenge, especially in the commercial industrial area, where we face resistance from the traditional guys who like to do things the old way.
Right.
And it's about change management or changing of the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and really appreciate what you're doing. You're taking the number one most impactful thing that we can do and actually doing something with it. And I think your company is making a huge difference. I really appreciate it. Michael Folk, thank you for joining our podcast today.
And thank you very much, Todd.
We're here today with Sharan Sambhi, and Sharan has been helping to organize the Green Talks here at Sunway that I've been a part of today. And without further ado, I'll introduce Sharan Sambhi. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Todd. It's great to be interviewed by you.
It's great to see you today. Sharan and I kind of go back a little bit. Sharan took me to a great tour of Betty and what's the name of her organization? Starseed, thank you. She took me to see Betty at Starseeds and had a great tour of the garden up there and the seaside, and she's very involved with local environmental issues. And why don't you just tell us, Sharan, how did you get involved with these kinds of issues and concerns?
I guess it started, since I was young, but I only got really active maybe 4 years ago because I sort of had a break from the corporate world, and it was a good thing, blessing in disguise, because then I started to, get involved in some of the NGOs and societies, and from there it just grew. And what eventually happened was that I realized that I wanted to continue in that environmental field, and I was looking for an opportunity where I could actually work in something related to the environment because, as you know, volunteering in NGOs doesn't really bring in any income. So when Zurelli came up, I felt that would be a good opportunity for me to actually engage with environmental issues, with people, with the industry, and at the same time, I could actually sustain, get some income from it.
Very good. I want to get to Zurelli in a second here. I'm curious what you were doing in this corporate world before you started doing this.
I studied immunology and virology and ended up working in areas related to the pharma and biotech industries.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
So you were, what company were you working for?
Quite a few companies. I mean, I worked in KL, Australia. I've worked in KL, worked in Singapore, and most recently I worked in Johor. So the last company was a government-linked company that is running a biotech park, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah. And your position there was?
I was general manager, market development. So
okay.
Yeah, it was a bit of like customers, liaison, looking at the whole process of setting up manufacturing facilities, R&D facilities.
So you're bringing some marketing experience, event management experience into this new venture.
Exactly. Yeah. I have organized events before in my previous job, so it's not something new.
Sure.
But it's always good to have a topic that you feel passionate about.
Absolutely. I hear you. Yeah. So tell us about Zurelli. What are they all about?
It just so happened that, when I started looking for jobs and on LinkedIn, I changed my profile a bit. So I actually got LinkedIn. I got in contact with someone through LinkedIn who turned out to be a neighbor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's Tim, right? Tim Warrington.
Yeah.
And
you and I are neighbors. So
that's right.
Tim's my neighbor too.
Everyone's connected.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
So he said, "Hey, I didn't realize you're interested in environmental management or working on stuff related to the environment." And he had set up, he's been doing this for a couple of years already, a portal, which is, he's building it up to be a one-stop, like the largest global portal for green products. And it's called Zurelli.com.
Okay.
And it's a pretty good platform, and they've already added a substantial number of companies and products and services from all over the world. Different types of green products, everything from building materials to packaging materials to solar energy. So he and I met a couple of times, and at the same time he was also thinking about spin-offs from the portal, because in order to have a successful portal, people have to know that it exists. I mean, the first step was to build up the portal so that there's like substantial resources on there that people can refer to. and then you have to like drive traffic to,
Yeah.
to the
You
portal,
have to
right?
drive something for the traffic to go to, and then you have to drive the traffic,
Yeah,
right?
so
Yeah.
the name Zurelli becomes synonymous with when people think of what green products.
Ah.
Oh yeah, let's look at Zurelli.
Sort of like the Amazon of the green world.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get it.
yes.
Yeah, awesome. So
Yeah.
today's event, what was going on today?
Okay, so came up with this idea of having short, kind of very targeted events, B2B events,
Yeah.
which are focused on specific industries and
Mm.
looking at products and services and solutions which would, green ones, of course,
Yeah.
green, environmentally friendly, sustainable, that would be useful to that specific industry.
I see. And today
So-
was food and beverage.
Yes, so today was actually the first one in the series, and
Ah.
it's targeted to the F&B industry, people running restaurants or dealing with food, like, even supermarkets, cafeterias. So we've called it Green Talks, and today was the first one, Green Talks with F&B. We called it with rather than for because we wanted to make it like an engaging process. It's like
Yeah.
the F&B industry helping themselves and engaging with the right type of suppliers that can help them to go green. And
I like that, like a collaboration.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Very good. So you said series. So there's a planned number of this series, or it's a kind of unlimited amount?
Well, we started off in Johor, and we plan to have this, replicate the same series in other places like Singapore, and even bring it to other parts of Malaysia and also other parts of the world. But starting off in Johor, we found a very nice partner to work with, which was Sunway. And they, like, you're here, we're here right now. You can see that it's a great location for
Yeah.
the Green Talks.
Yeah,
It's a
she-
very green.
Yeah, very green
Very
and
pleasant.
Sunway. There's a beautiful room here, and we're you can probably hear them cleaning up and setting up for the next event in the background. But it's
Overlooking a lake.
yeah,
Yep.
a lake and some beautiful forest area, and it's just wonderful spot. And also there's retail nearby, so you have some built-in F&B opportunities right here next door. So yeah, it is like a perfect spot.
Yeah, pretty good. We also engaged with the local authority or agency which is taking care of the development of this whole region, this whole Iskandar region in southern Johor.
Ah,
So yeah, they are also a great supporter.
oh, who is that?
The IRDA, which stands for Iskandar Regional Development Authority.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're kind of in charge of the whole community development.
They're in charge of the whole economic, the whole development. I mean, the size of Iskandar is like 3 times the size of Singapore.
Wow, I did
And-
not know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a special zone, and it has its own set of guidelines for own set of incentives for setting up businesses. They also have a blueprint for a low carbon society, and
Oh, really?
yeah, they're also actively monitoring the carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emissions.
I love it.
They have one whole division on that.
Wow.
So today, one of the first speakers was actually the head from that environmental
Ah.
division.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of gave the big picture.
Awesome.
Yes,
Wow.
but that's the big picture. That's
Yeah.
like, setting the governmental guidelines. But another important part of it is how the industry can engage, or they can have their own initiatives to become greener. So that's what we see the Green Talks as, where industry, they actually network and they meet the right type of suppliers, where they can take their own steps towards being greener, and also see that it as a business opportunity, because being green can also be profitable. In fact, that's one of the best incentives for people to
Right.
make the switch.
Yeah.
Is if they can see the that it doesn't affect or it increases their profit.
Yeah.
That is the ideal combination, where you're actually doing something that's good for the environment, and at the same time, it's also good for your business.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today you had someone talking about refrigeration efficiency, aircon, some new
Cleaning products,
some
plastic-free solutions.
yeah, and some toilet paper, which is cool.
Yes, and
We
then
had-
we had some like biodegradable or compostable packaging materials and
Yeah.
and bags which are compostable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were all the speakers today already involved with Zirelli, or did they come from sort of all over?
Actually, most of them not on Zirelli, but all the speakers who came today will eventually be on the portal.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we are going to add them into the portal for free, so
Okay.
they don't. It's actually an added benefit of taking part today. And in addition to that, because the portal is pretty huge and diverse, in the terms of products and services, so we came up with the idea that for each event, we will come up with a specific catalog. So after this event, we're going to come up with not a printed catalog, because, we don't believe in all that wastage of paper, but an online catalog,
Good.
which is specifically for the F&B industry.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Well-
much easier for the F&B players to
Yeah.
look in there and see, okay, what do I need? I need some packaging, green packaging, or I
Right.
need machines to take care of my food waste,
Yeah.
like composters or digesters.
Very important. Yeah.
Or, some water quality, filtered water, so
Yeah.
that they can replace, instead of selling water in plastic bottles, they can just serve that.
Right.
Or, they need cleaning solutions which are more eco-friendly
Yeah.
and less hazardous.
Well, I'm shopping
So
for a
on.
composter right now. Can I go to Zirelli right now and find one?
Yes, you can. In fact, there's one Malaysian company listed there,
perfect,
and
yeah.
they have just come out with a home use composter. I mean, there's so many types of composters, it depends on your volume,
Yeah.
and it depends your space, how much space you have.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, there's tons of solutions.
And let's say I'm a vendor, or I have a great idea, okay, I've got this great product, but I'm not quite sure. Do I want to sell it on my own website? Would it be appropriate for me to contact Zirelli and say, can you sell my product for me? And how does that work?
Okay, well that's a really good point, Todd. Because actually Zirelli is just a portal, so we just we just put the information there about the company's products.
I see.
But when customers get interested in that, they contact the company directly.
The seller. Okay.
Yes, they
So
contact. So
you're
there's no interface.
You're just informational.
Just informational. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
So what's coming next what's the next series, and what's the plan for the kind of upcoming?
Okay, well, the next one is something a bit different from F&B. It's about facilities management. So the target audience will be, all the facilities managers. They could be from the developers themselves. So, their own property managers who are taking care of the whole township, the buildings, the landscaping. Or it could be facilities managers of condominiums, shopping centers. So, they are also looking for green solutions.
Sure.
Or
Ways to be more efficient, less
yes.
impact on the environment.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So we have a lot of suppliers who have expressed interest to, meet all these facilities managers. And there's a lot of them around this area because there's so many new buildings coming up.
For sure. Everywhere you look, there's a big, huge crane
Yep.
popping a new building up. Where and when is that event going to be?
It's going to be on the 18th of September, same venue, Sunway Iskandar.
Okay.
Yep.
Sunway Iskandar right here, 18th of September.
Mhm.
And is there one already planned for after that, or
Yeah, there's, I can't remember the next one, but
where can
Another-
people go to find the schedule?
Oh, okay. You can go to www.zurelli.green.
Okay, and that's Zureli.
Yes, Zurelli is spelled Zureli.
Okay, dot
Zurelli.
green.
Yes,
I
dot green.
like that, dot green.
Yeah, that is for the events, but the normal portal is just Zurelli.com.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Zurelli.com to look at the normal products and services available, and then if you want to find the event schedule, Zurelli.green.
Yeah, but I
Awesome.
think either way you still get.
You can find it.
You can
either
find
way.
it,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Well, I'm really happy to. First of all, I'm happy just to have met you and have you be my neighbor, and it's just wonderful.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's just wonderful having, fellow people interested in green and ecology and the environment. And I say ecology, I'm like an ex-hippie, so we always used to say ecology, but the environmental issues is just wonderful. And really appreciate what you're doing. I'm glad you found this job to do and that you're finding a way to express what I know is a deep and meaningful purpose for you and your life and your children and your family. It's just really great. So thank you so much for being on our podcast. Is there anything else you'd like to add about Zurelli or the company or upcoming events?
Not really. Just pretty happy that today's event went well. You
Yeah.
know, everyone seems to be happy with it. Like,
Yeah.
of course, we will try to tweak it a bit more.
Yeah. Well, I
as we
should
go
mention
along.
as a participant today, just really went great. There were more people here, I think, than even you expected, perhaps, and just well run. People who got their point across, and I think you could tell at the end of the event, people just didn't bolt out of here, like I had to go to this meeting today and now I get to go home. They stuck around, they talked to the speakers. There's a lot of follow-up interest, which is a good sign.
Yes. They were genuinely interested, I think.
Yeah. So great job putting it together, and anything I can do to help you in the future, just let me know, and I'll probably be at your next event as well.
Okay. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Sharon, and have a great rest of your day.